Okay, discuss naman natin ngayon yung ating next topic. Topic is the derivative of implicit functions. So sabi dito sa definition, for the functions such as x squared plus y squared is equal to 4xy, x squared of y is equal to 9x, or the quantity of x plus y squared is equal to 3xy, the values of x and y are connected together in an equation. Finding the derivative of y with respect to x, implicit differentiation can be applied. The y is called the implicit function of x. There are rules and steps for us to solve implicit functions easily. The first rule, you apply derivatives or differentiation formulas. Next, you have to solve the derivative of the function term by term. The next one, the third rule, if the term contains y, substitute y prime for y and proceed to the next term. And if the term contains y raised to n, substitute ny raised to n minus y prime for y and proceed to the next term. And then you have to resolve the resulting equation for y prime. Solve natin yung number 33 para mas magets natin kung paano ang implicit function derivative. X squared plus y squared is equal to 4xy. So sabi niya, you have to apply differentiation rule. So eto, addition rule, tas etong dalawa naman is product rule. Tama ba? Pwede kong ilagay yan as 4 multiplied by xy. Kasi constant naman siya, pwede siyang ilabas. In turn, this will become u, and this will become v. Ito muna derivative nito, 2x, plus, derivative of y squared is 2y. For every derivative of y, you include y prime. Then, ito naman, product rule, ang u natin ay x, ang derivative nito is 1. Ang v natin ay y, ang derivative nito ay y prime. For every derivative of y is y prime. So this will become 4 of formula ng product rule, u dv plus v du. So u dv plus v du na 1. So hindi ko na siya ilalagay. Pwede siyang isulat as 4xy prime plus 4y. This time, kailangan mong pagsamahin yung mga may y prime value kasi ang rule natin kapag kukunin ng derivative, kailangan magkakasama yung similar terms. Yung similar terms dito, yung merong y prime. Kasi mamaya, ifa-factor out natin yung y prime para makuha natin yung ating derivative. So, this will become 4x y prime minus 2y y prime equal to 2x minus 4y. Ang ginawa ko dyan, since malaki yung exponent nito, ito na yung niretain ko sa bandang side na ito. Ito na lang nilipat ko dun. Kaya 4xy prime minus 2yy prime. Tas, since ito, hindi naman siya nagalaw, ito yung na-retain dito. Ito yung lumipat. Kaya minus 4y. Okay, transposition of values. So, factor out y prime. This is 4x minus 2y. And then, rewrite. Tas, divide both side by 4x minus 2y. For us to get rid of this factor, y prime natin is 2x minus 4y over 4x minus 2y. Factorable by 2, this is x minus 2y over 2x minus y. So, cancel by 2. Final answer natin, x minus 2y over 2x minus y. Number 33. Okay? Then, proceed tayo sa number 34. Tayo. So, given tayo x plus y squared equal to 3xy. So, eto guys, nakuha na natin to kanina. Ang sagot dyan is xy prime plus y. Tama ba? So, isusulat ko na lang siyang ganyan para hindi na natin kunin ulit yung derivative. Then, eto naman, chain rule. So, 2, rewrite x plus y, and then derivative of the inside function. Anong derivative niyan? It's 1 for x plus derivative of y prime. Then, equal to 3xy prime plus 3y. Dinistribute ko na yung 3 sa dalawa. Ito naman, po-foil natin, 2 of x plus xy prime. So, ito naman, plus y plus yy prime equal to 3x y prime plus 3y. So, distribute ko yung 2 sa lahat. 2x plus 2xy prime excuse me, plus 2y plus 2y y prime is equal to 3xy prime plus 3y. Then, pagsamahin natin yung may mga y prime values. So, since 3 ito guys, ito na lang i-retain ko. Kasi itong dalawa, lilipat ko dun. 3xy prime minus 2xy prime minus 2y prime is equal to 2x plus 2y minus 3y. Similar terms, this is just xy prime minus 2y prime is equal to 2x minus y. Tama? 2y minus 3y is y. Then, factor out by y prime. X minus 2y is equal to 2x minus y. So, divide both sides by x minus 2y. Makakancel yon. Dito ko na lang siya itutuloy. So, y prime mo is 2x minus y over x minus 2y. So, wala na tayong pwedeng i-cancel dyan or i-reduce. Pwede na yan. Number 34. 35 tayo. X square root of y is equal to 9x plus y. So, expand natin to guys, yung y, para mas madali. Then, ito, product rule, u and v. Tapos itong dalawa, simple derivative to. So, kunin natin ang u dito, x. Ang derivative niyan, 1. Ang v natin ay y raised to 1/2. Anong derivative niyan? 1/2 y raised to negative 1/2 and y prime. Kakalimutan yan. Okay. Then, lagay natin sa equation natin na u dv plus dv. Ito na siya. U x dv ay 1 plus v na y raised to 1/2 then du natin u dv, u dv. So u is x, ang dv natin ay 1/2 y raised to negative 1/2 of y prime. Yan. Then plus v na y raised to 1/2 ang du natin 1 plus equals 9 plus y prime. Diba? Derivative of 9x is 9. Derivative of y is y prime. Then, simplify lang natin. Ito, single term lang naman to guys. I-multiply lang natin dito sa x. Para malinaw siyang makita. Tanggalin ko na yung 1 dito. This is simply 9 plus y prime. Pagsamahin natin yung may prime values. So, eto lang naman, tsaka yun. So, pagsamahin natin sila sa isang equal sign. So, i-retain ko na lang itong y prime dito. Y prime minus 1/2 xy negative 1/2 y prime is equal to y raised to 1/2 minus 9. Since ito yung niretain natin, ito yung lilipat. Tapos, factor by y prime. So, 1 minus 1/2 xy negative 1/2 is equal to y raised to 1/2 minus 9. Then, divide both sides by 1 minus 1/2 xy raised to negative 1/2 para mawala yun. Ang magiging sagot natin dyan would be y prime is equal to y raised to 1/2 minus 9 over 1 minus 1/2 xy negative 1/2. Okay? So, ito na yung pinaka-y prime natin. Pero hindi pa ito yung final answer kasi kailangan pa natin itong i-simplify. Hindi naman pwedeng ganyan lang siya. Mayroong raised to 1 half, merong mga naka-minus 1 half x, y raised to negative 1 half, kailangan nating equate into an equivalent radical. So, i-retain ko to, buburahin natin to. So, solve natin. Gagawin kong radical yon, tapos ito negative, ibababa ko siya. So, this will become y prime is equal to square root of y minus 9 all over 1 minus x over 2 square root of y. Ito yan. No? Equivalent niya. Then, LCD na 2 square root of y. Tapos, 2 square root of y divided by 1 is the same. Then, multiplied by 1 is still 2 square root of y. Minus x. Kasi yun na yung ating LCD. Pwede na siyang itaas. No? Yan. Safe, pwede mo siyang itaas. Ito lang. 2 square root of y multiplied by square root of y minus 9 all over 2 square root of y minus x. Distribute. Ang 2 square root of y multiplied by square root of y is 2y. Bakit? Guys, y raised to 1 half to. Guys, y raised to 1 half, y raised to 1 half. Kaya y raised to 1 na lang yan. Minus 18 square root of y over 2 square root of y minus x. So, ito na yung final answer natin. Okay, number 35.